Imagine this. You've built that fantastic Make.com automation that saves you or one of your customers hours every week. Sounds great, but then void. No info, no warnings, no alerts whatsoever. The silence while your data stops flowing, your scenario breaks. Sounds familiar? You're not the only one. The problem here? Make.com's alerting system sends notifications only to the inbox connected to your account. And honestly, who checks their inbox every minute these days? What if, instead, those critical alerts landed instantly in Slack, where your team already works and collaborates? Hey, I'm Lucas, and in this video I will show you a step-by-step solution on sending Mail.com notifications directly to Slack. Let's eliminate guesswork and keep your automations run smoothly. Sending alerts to Slack creates immediate visibility for the whole team. Instead of one person being solely responsible for monitoring all errors, everyone can see and respond to issues as they arise. This enables quicker decision-making, better accountability, and more proactive approach to fixing any automation issues. Alerts in Slack or any tool you use keep your workflow transparent and efficient, ensuring no critical issues slips through the cracks. Plus, with Slack's real-time notifications, your team can address problems before they snowball into bigger troubles. Let's dive in. Start by creating a new scenario in Make. Okay, give it a correct name. I usually start with the trigger, which is on the new email alert, and then the action that should happen. Okay, let's add our trigger, which should be a Mailhook. So let's search for that and select custom Mailhook. Basically, Mailhook is like an inbox that will receive email, and after receiving the email, it will start the automation. Click on Create Webhook and give it a name. In this case, I usually try to keep the same name as the name used for the automation, so it will be on the new email alert. This way, I can easily determine which webhook works with which automation. Okay, and next step should be to copy the address, then start the automation. We need to start the automation because in next step, we are going to set up the forwarding in Gmail, and for each new forwarding in Gmail, we had to accept the email. That means we will get the email to our webhook, to our Mailhook. Then we will need to find the link in the Mailhook and confirm that this is the correct address. Okay, switch to our Gmail, open the settings, and then click See All Settings. Go to Forwarding and add a forwarding address and paste the email that we just copied. Click Next. Okay, first you need to confirm on your device, which will take me a second. Now click Proceed. Okay, next we need to confirm that the address that we add to our forwarding addresses is the correct one. For that, let's go to our scenario, click to see the operation, and in the text you should have, please click the link below to confirm the request. Let's copy the link and just open it. Now, as you can see, Gmail is asking us to confirm the email. Click confirm, and our email is confirmed. Have a success. That means right now we can send email and forward them to this address. Next, we need to create a filter in Gmail that will forward all alerts, errors, stop notifications, and warnings to this address. So let's switch over to Gmail and let's search emails. Let's use filters from, we are looking for emails from address no reply. In my case, it's eu2.make.com, but the beginning, the first part, may change for your region. With that, it's okay. And in subject, we want to find warning or error or stopped. Okay, now click search. As you can see, we just found all the make notifications that we want to have on our Slack. Now, let's click on the filter and based on that criteria, create filter. What we want to do is to forward to the address we just added to the address of our Mailhook. Also, we can skip the inbox. We don't want to see them, or in my case, I don't want to see them in my inbox. Maybe you want to create some folder, but it's all up to you. So for now, I will just skip the inbox and forward each two. Now create filter, and this part is ready. Right now, in the filters, you can find the filter that basically will match all the emails from make, warning, error, or stopped, and forward them to our Mailhook. At this point, it would be really good to test if all our settings work correctly. So let's go to our filter to see all emails we may use. Go back to make, run the automation so we can capture the email. Go to any email that matches our criteria and forward it to our Mailhook and just click send. And as you can see, we just received the notification, encounter warning. We have all the text. That means we have all the data we need to work with. When we have all the data, the next step will be to filter the issue details from the text so we can use them later in our Slack notification. For that, we can use regex, but the easier way would be to use ChatGPT for that. So let's select OpenAI and create a completion. Select method will be create a chat completion. Switch to model. GPT or mini would be more than enough. And let's add a message. The first role will be an assistant. And for text context, let's put our instruction, which should look like this. You are a helpful email assistant. You will receive an email message with an error or warning. Your job is to extract information and return it in JSON format. If the message is warning or error, warning and error messages looks almost the same, but the notification about stopped scenario looks a bit different. Let's also switch show advanced settings because we want the response format to JSON object. Also, we want to switch parse JSON response to yes. It will automatically parse the response, which means that we will no longer need to parse the JSON in next module. Also, for that actions, I like to switch the temperature to much lower than default one, like for example 0.5, to make sure that the model will always follow the instruction and will return JSON in the exact format as I described. Let's click OK, and we can test. So open the email that we just got, copy the text, and click run this module only. Oh, I forgot to actually add the text that we want to extract from. So let's add message to, select user, and text context should be a text from our email. Okay, and now we can run this module only, paste the text we just copied, click run, and as you can see, we have a result. Result is a parsed data with name of the scenario, scenario URL, execution URL, details URL, and logs URL, which is really good because we have all the information that we will need later for our Slack notification. Before moving to next module, I want to mention that ChatGPT likes to fail. I mean by that, usually it's rate limit, but it also likes to timeout, etc. And that means that our scenario will fail. That's why I usually add error handler, which is break. I set number of attempts, usually between 3 and 6, interval to be 1 minute. That means when ChatGPT fails, it will go to break, wait 1 minute and try again, and it will try it 3 times before failing completely. Okay, as you can see, we have some issue. The issue says that this directive requires storing of incomplete execution. Click on the settings and switch allow storing of incomplete executions and click OK. As you can see, all good now. Now, when our error handling is ready, we can move forward. But before going directly to Slack, we need to do 2 small steps, which will be escaping all special characters from our scenario name and subject, which we will use later. We need to do that because for Slack messages to look nice, we will use something called blocks, and blocks are defined in JSON format. And for correctly build these blocks and have correct JSON format, we need to run these 2 steps, which will help us escaping all special characters that may break our automation or notification in the future. To make that, let's use a JSON module. Let's add a new module, find JSON, and use transform to JSON. The object that we want to transform is the scenario name. In our case, just scenario. Okay, let's rename it so we know what's going on. To transform scenario name. Okay, add another module, which also will be JSON, and transform. And in this case, the object will be our subject. Click OK. Also rename and give it a name transform subject. And with that, we know that our name and subject will have all special characters escaped, so we can safely use them in JSON structures later. As you remember from previous steps when we were setting the filter, we actually catch 3 types of messages, which is warning, alert, and scenario stopped information. And in my case, for each of that type, I want to have a slightly different message. To achieve that, we need to add a router. Click add another module, flow control, and router. We will need not 4, but 3 paths. The first one will be warning, so let's call it warning. In the condition, let's filter subject and test if it contains word warning. Okay. The second one will be error. So let's do the same. Condition subject contains case insensitive error. Okay. And the third one will be stopped. Condition again subject text operator contains stopped. Okay. Just align. Now only the final step left, which is actually sending the message to Slack. So let's start adding. Let's choose Slack, create a message, use your connection, set the channel you want to send your notifications. In my case, it will be alerts. As I mentioned before, we are going to use blocks, but to make sure that the notification will be sent, you always want to put something into text. In my case, I will use subject. And for blocks, let's build a message. For that, let's jump to Blocking Builder, which is a tool from Slack for building blocking notifications. And for that, let's use my setting, which would look like this. As you can see, we have information about warning, we have the subject, the execution that we can click, the scenario that we can click, and we also have some more details here. Now, as the JSON is correct, let's copy it, jump back to make.com and paste. And the last step here is to replace static data with informations from our scenario. So here, the subject, we should use transform subject. We should remove the quotation marks because the transformed text already will include those. Next, the execution. Next is the execution. So let's switch execution text with actual execution ID and the execution URL example execution URL with the execution URL. Next will be scenario. So let's do this the same. The scenario URL should be switched with the one from ChatGPT, as well the name of the scenario. And finally, see more details link with the more details URL. Okay, now we should have the warning path fully working. So let's test it. Click run once, jump back to our to the Gmail, to our warning notification, and send and forward each again to our Mailhook. Let's click send. Let's see how the make will operate. And after a few seconds, you can already see that the message has been sent. So let's switch and jump to our Slack. And here we have it, our notification about the issue. And right now, the final step is to search the message for error and stopped notifications and then test it. Now my messages for error and stopped are set. So let's again test it for error. Let's go to Gmail, find some error notification. Let's forward it to our Mailhook address. As you can see, the message has been created. Let's check it. Yeah, we can see scenario with errors. Test the stopped scenario. So enable, jump to Gmail, see only some stopped messages, forward it to our Mailhook, click send. Yep, the message has been created. Let's check it. Scenario stopped. And yeah, here we are. If you want a full blueprint for this automation, you can get it for free. Just check the link in the description. And here you have it, a seamless way to send Make.com alerts straight to Slack. If this video helped you, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell for more automation tips. Got questions? Drop them into comments.